Welcome to the first edition of Mainly Motorsports in the month of November, and the end of the end of this month is one of our favorite days, right? If you didn't know no better, right? Just look at us, you can tell we love Thanksgiving, right?
I'm pleading the fifth.
You're pleading the fifth. Now, how about the trick-or-treat candy? Have you been rifling through the little boys' bags? And
Nope.
I do. I got to deal with my kids. You know, when you're at the door, you know, ask them, tell them you got a father. You know, he's home. You know, lose a little bit, and once in a while they get a little extra. You know, and they always want to give you the stuff they don't like.
Oh, I'll rifle through it. Yeah. I haven't yet, but I will.
Yeah. So I'm. Yeah. Maybe that's why we are the size we are.
Well.
But who cares, right? But another thing that November usually means, and it actually is meaning now, is banquet season. You know, and it's a great time for all the champions to be acknowledged, and you know, for their accolades of what they accomplished. And you know, sometimes I don't think they realize what they accomplished, but that is a big deal to win a championship. I mean, you guys know firsthand from last year what you know.
Yeah, it hits you when you get there, kinda. You know, it's a weird feeling, but it's definitely nice to go and be recognized.
Yeah, no, it is, by your peers, by the track, you know, and even the guys you know, might have ruffled their feathers or
One
had
thing about banquets is even if you have issues, there's never like really any animosity when you're there. Everybody's friends when you're there.
I don't know, maybe everybody wants to go to the Richmond Karting Speedway banquet in a couple weeks. You might see some issues there, some knuckles flying and stuff. So, and it's funny because I ain't involved, so that's all I got to say. But, you know, but that's good, and you know, I really, it's neat, and you know, these guys from the lower divisions all the way up through, and it's a proud moment for your family, your crew, your sponsors, and you know, I hope you all really take the time and let it filter through and what you've accomplished. You know, especially those first-time champions.
Right. Yeah. It's a quality time to enjoy it and be safe.
And I can honestly say, I've already gone to a banquet this year, and I didn't get it shut down like last year. Me and my co-host went to the Unity banquet, and I still apologize to them, but wasn't on my part. But the co-host I had at the time,
it wasn't me.
No, it wasn't him. Decided we ought to be, you know, causing a ruckus, and we got the Unity banquet shut down. So I shouldn't say we. He did, but you know, it's just.
And then you moved on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, bigger. You know, and it's funny is I had a luncheon meeting the other day with a gentleman, and one of the first comments he had out of me, I haven't seen him in a little bit, was, "What are you doing on the show? You're getting somebody bigger than you, so it makes you look good." I said, "Yeah, you know," but we fill this set well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nobody looks better.
Nobody looks better, and I don't know if I got enough room to back the camera up. If I got anybody else any bigger. But, you know, it is, boy, we've got snow. We've got, I mean, it's our fault. We've been talking about it for a couple weeks on here.
That's good for, you know, like the people that were at the MSA show a few weeks ago. They're all amped up. A lot of us are like, you know, but they're all amped up. The snow's flying. They're going to get their sleds up. There'll be a 1/4 inch of snow on someone's lawn, and you'll see tracks through it soon.
Yeah. No, and it's, you know, there's a lot of people out there in the state that rely on that. So, you know.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it is good. But we got you know, we still got a jam-packed show today. You know, we got, you know, some stuff from up at the Sokokis Riders a couple weeks ago. Dave traveled up. Grass drags, you know. Yeah. I mean, all they had to do was wait a couple weeks, and they'd have been doing it in the snow. But
so grass is more traction.
Yeah. So they got the grass drags, and then Chris you know, there's so much that happens in the state of Maine, and we try to bring you as much as we possibly can with our busy schedules. But you know, thankfully Chris Marley looked us up, and he's done some.
Yeah, Chris has done a great job with a lot of pieces.
And reaching out and going to these places that we A, didn't know about, or B, just didn't have the time to get there. But, you know, he's bringing another piece to us this week from Boondocks Raceway up in Showhegan, you know, another place on the dirt. And if it's anything like the last one, I mean, I still have people talking about those guys, and the other
Where's
guy
that dirt track?
Up in Unity just launched him right through the woods, you know. That's, you know, we didn't put him in a wall. We put him out through the woods, you know. But, you know, this action you're going to see from Boondocks just looks fun. So these are things that people need to pencil in, you know, and say, you know, next year. And we hope to do more of it next year. But, you know, take that Sunday afternoon and say, hey, I'm going to go up there and, you know, try it out and see what it's all about, you know. Yeah.
And on that same note, if there's things that people know about that they haven't heard us mention, send us a thing on the Facebook page, and maybe we can look into it, you know?
Yeah, a lot of it is, you know, somebody will say, how come you don't do this? Never heard of it.
Never heard of it,
you know,
right.
I mean, I know a lot, but I don't know it all.
So if there's something you would like to see covered, let us know on the Facebook page.
Let us know. Then we're going to introduce our Uncle Henry segment, you know.
Yep.
Got our first, you know, and it's close to home, but we got our first, I don't want to say entrant, but it's, you know, addition or whatever.
Yep.
I mean, I don't even know what you call it. I mean, our first classified.
It's the first classified.
Yeah. So, you know, people see that, and if you know, got something you want to try to move and pedal, you know, why not do it here on Mainly Motorsports? Get you know, you'll see how it works in a little bit there when we have a race vehicle on here for sale, and you know, then it gives you the opportunity. Maybe you want to do it with your stuff, because you know, we reach some serious viewers, and you know, all over the state as well as parts of New Hampshire now. With you know, go to the YouTube Mainly Motorsports YouTube page, and you know, there's no way that you can't tell me you can't watch Mainly Motorsports now.
Right. I mean, you can watch it on Facebook, on the website, on YouTube, on Channel 9 in Maine, Channel 21 in New Hampshire.
Oh, yeah. No, you're exactly right. All the way from Kittery to Fort Kent, you know. Yep. So, you know, and thank you to all the nice comments we see on our Facebook page. Or, you know, I get emails and stuff. People are really enjoying what we're doing. So,
I like to think that I add to it.
Yeah, you add. You add probably 350, 360. That's my guess. I don't know. We aren't scaling in, but that's what I'm guessing. Am I close?
Well, I'm not. I'm pleading the fifth on that too.
Oh, like a woman. You never.
We'll see on after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you never know what a woman weighs. And then, you know, here we are in November, so we got 2 months, and then it's the Northeast Motorsports Expo.
Yep, that's gonna be. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not, because I know you're gonna have me running ragged.
Nah, you'd be all right. We don't do much up there, but you know, and anybody that's interested in being a vendor up there. We still got some vendor spaces available. Things are coming in. And this sounds kind of odd. When I went to the Aikido race, sitting up in the bleachers, there was a gentleman that sitting over next to me with his family. So if you're watching Mainly Motorsports, you're going to know who you are. Said, hey, how do I get into that show? I want to have vendor space, you know. And I said, well, you know, just give me a card. So anybody that knows me gave me the card, and what do you think I did with it?
You lost it.
I lost it. So you had the sign shop up there. You wanted to put your sign business in with a race car. So if you watch the show and you know who you are, you better send me an email or go online and download the form. So, and like I said, you go to northeastmotorsportsexpo.net and download this form that Dave's showing you right now, and that'll give you all the information, all the prices, everything you need to know about getting space into the expo show.
Getting some vendor space, getting set up, and maybe possibly getting some business out of the people walking through.
Yeah, should be a good show. You know, a lot of excitement. I'm excited.
It's getting better every year.
We're going to start making some announcements coming up here. We get some bigger ones as we get closer, but start announcing some of the places that we got coming in. A little added feature to help the vendors out, you know.
Yep.
Get them their name heard on Mainly Motorsports. People are aware, and you know, and go check the website out, and you can follow along with who's coming. But like I said, you know, it's a great show today. No real, I mean, we got Boondocks, but you know, asphalt season's over.
Yep.
Pretty much over, you know. And then
too bad.
Yeah.
I'm going into withdrawals.
But you still got the Meltdown. Anybody that's interested in traveling down to Concord Motorsports Park in November, which we're still in negotiations. Greg's got to negotiate with the girlfriend, and I think he's kind of halfway through his negotiations. And my negotiations are, hey, I think I'm going to do this, so, you know, you need anything from me? I'm leaving on Thursday, so I'm not a real good negotiator. But it costs me in the long run, you know, wife and kids, you know. But that should be a good race. You know?
Yeah, I've never been to Concord, so that's one of the reasons.
And I'll tell you, that's a fast track.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
And that'll bring all the heavy hitters from the north.
And the south.
The heavy hitters from the south, Thanksgiving weekend. So, you know, and you'll probably see a lot of that.
I went to the first Mason-Dixon Meltdown at South Boston. We actually ran a car.
Yeah.
And here's my comment about South Boston Speedway. Other than, did you see the news from NASCAR about the big fight they had after the late model race?
Peyton Sellers
got ejected. They hauled him to jail.
Yeah.
But the bologna burgers at South Boston. Did you have one when you did you go?
I'm not a bologna.
Come on.
Let me tell you something. Okay.
The fried bologna burgers were awesome.
Let me tell you something.
Ask Busta. I think Busta was in the bologna burger eating contest.
We're going to touch on Buster and that bologna. I wasn't going to say nothing, but you brought it up. I don't eat bologna because when we were younger, we used to have it all the time, so I don't eat it. But let's talk about Busta, right? Here's Busta Bean.
I think he was in it. I'm not.
Okay.
Was he?
Oh, yeah, he was. So here's Buster Bean, all right? Buster Bean, big dude, worked for SP2, going to win the bologna burger eating contest, okay? He's got a sponsor. Jack from Northern Tire sponsors him, pays his entry fee, okay? He's got,
Everybody was trying to get me to do it.
he's got a spotter. Steve Tapley is spotting for him, okay? So he's spotting to look and tell who the other ones are who has eaten, right? He's got Carol Hill, who's like his manager, right? Gonna pump him up, psych him up, right? So Buster, he's ready. He's gonna fire the burgers down, right? The bologna burgers. So I'm standing out on the backstretch over in the 3-turn. Me and Ryan Lawler and Kyle Busch are in a conversation, talking, right? They're on the front stretch talking. Can anybody beat Elliott Sadler has the record for the bologna burger eating contest, right? Can anybody beat Elliott's record? So I said to them two, I said, Lawler, we got to go. Buster's in that. So me and Ryan Lawler take off running. We run all the way to the front stretch, right? We get through the crowd, and we're sitting there looking at all of the ones eating the burgers, right? Where's Buster? There is no Buster. Did he forget it? Did he? Nope. Buster.
I've never heard this story.
Big Buster, gonna whip everybody, right? Ate one bologna burger. It had onions in it. He don't like onions. He was kneeling over the wall, puking, right? He was done. One and done. So this guy that was gonna win the bologna burger eating contest,
I wouldn't have been in it if they had onions.
was sick and was done. So that's my Buster story about the bologna burgers. So no, I don't eat the bologna burgers.
They were good.
Yeah.
I did have them plain with some cheddar cheese on it. It was fantastic.
No bologna here.
If you go to South Boston Speedway, get a bologna burger.
All right, but there's nothing going on there. We're going to Concord.
Right.
So, chance to go down, maybe have Thanksgiving down there and go to the shop. So, I don't think I can get you away a couple days before Thanksgiving, but
No.
no.
Probably
But,
wouldn't be good.
No, it wouldn't be good. Greg be looking for a place to live. So, right?
Yep.
All right. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back on Mainly Motorsports.
Hey, are you Bob Crowley?
Hey, yeah?
Are you going to Ospey Trail?
Yes, I am.
Sweet! Get in!
People will do whatever they gotta do to get to Ossipee Trail Motor Sales, Route 25, Gorham.
Patman's Redemption and Agency Liquor Store is located at 95 Tanberg Trail in Windham, Maine. With over 400 feet of hard liquor and 15 doors of ice-cold beer and soda, Patman's can handle all of your beverage needs. And if it's wine on your agenda, we have over 300 varieties in stock. Then when the party's over, Patman's can handle all of your Maine returnables, and we welcome all bottle drives. And if you're late for the race, drop off the bottles and pick up the cash at your convenience.
Hey, this is Pat Man himself, just letting you know that Pat Man's is your one-stop shop for all your thirsty needs.
You're watching Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by Northern Race Tire, dealer for Sunoco Race Fuels, distributed by New England Racing Fuel. Award Champs, rewarding your champions, the official supplier of Mainly Motorsports.
Now, we mentioned the snow that we just had this past weekend and, Friday and stuff. So it's snowmobile season. Told you we're going to be bringing you some footage each week. And
this, this footage that we got coming up is from the Sokokis grass drags, but there's grass drags going on all over the place. You hear about them last minute because their promotion isn't the greatest. But
yeah.
I mean, it's fun to go out and watch these guys rip down.
Yeah,
the field.
they had like 50-something competitors there, and they had some vendors there, and Dave traveled over, got some
guys get real serious about that stuff.
Listen, if the word racing's involved and they give you a helmet, somebody's gonna be serious. There's gonna be serious. But and we caught up with Ray Phillips over there, who's son Ryan Phillips, the Roadrunner champion for Beech Ridge, and he's heavily involved. Rick and Ray's Small Engines, one of our scroll sponsors. He's right into all that snowmobile stuff. And then the club president for the Sokokis Riders, which I used to belong to that club years and years ago when I was into snowmobiling, Jason Baker. See what they have to say about the event and what things look like for the winter. And I think we're going to get some snow. Do you snowmobile?
I used to.
Maybe I can get us one with a 2-up seat.
No.
Have to be a big sled.
Maybe you could get us. Maybe if we go on some of these charity rides or something, we could get hooked up.
Oh, they'll hook us up. People want to see us.
My girlfriend's parents have a camp in Rangeley.
Really? As long as they got a heater?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we're
it's
in.
Quality.
All right. So book it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, enjoy this piece from the Sokokis Riders Grass Drags.
I'm Jason Baker with Sokokis Riders Snowmobile Club, the president, and with me is Ray Phillips. He is the assistant trail master. We're over here in Buxton today doing a grass drag, anything from a 500 all the way up to open modifieds. A little bit about ourselves. We've been here for 30 plus years. Hope to be here for another 30 plus more. We do have quite a bit going on throughout the winter. We have a kind of snack shack right on the trail side, and we're in the process of planning a ice drag in February tentatively. How's that?
Hopefully we got a good show today. We got a pretty good turnout. We got 40 to 50 sleds right now. Anything from early 70s Mercuries all the way up to 2012 Arctic Cats. So nice variety of sleds. Should be a good show. Hopefully we'll have a good safe time and have a good time.
I'd also like to say thank you to our vendors. We have Reynolds Motorsports, White Rock Outboard, Amsoil Oil, and we also have club representation from Waterboro. So thank you to all. I'm going to refer that to Ray.
Right now we take care of about 45 miles of trails throughout Buxton. We have about 6 or 7 different grooming machines. On an average winter we put on somewhere around 2,500, 3,000 miles grooming. Most of the time the trails are groomed 2 to 3 times a week. Anything from full-size piston bully grooming all the way down to Scandics snowmobiles to get into the woods. Seems to have a very good turnout. We have a lot of participation in our shelter over here on the weekends, on Saturdays and Sundays when weather permits. There's always Danny is always out there. Hamburgers, hot dogs, ready to go. Stop on by, have a good time, tell some stories.
Yeah, I'd also like to add, if you're ever interested in joining a snowmobile club, if you're in Buxton, more than welcome to join us. You can get us on Facebook or web at SokokisRidersSnowmobileClub.com.
And I'd also like to throw out a thanks for our trophy sponsors today. First place trophy sponsor for the day is Rick Emery & Sons Electric out of Buxton. For all your electrical needs, call Rick and he'll fix you right up. And then all the second place trophies were donated by Rick and Ray's Small Engine right here in Buxton. So give them a call if you got any sled work or snowblower, stuff like that. I'm sure they can take care of you too.
Is it time to replace that old car, but past credit problems are getting in the way? At JT Motors, credit issues are a thing of the past. We have vehicles for any need. Growing family? How about a minivan? With winter here, come in and browse our great selection of four-wheel drive utilities. With a low down payment, you can qualify for this program despite those past credit issues. That's JT Motors, 650 Roosevelt Trail, Windham, where you always drive away with a smile on your face.
All of us at Moody's Collision Centers would like to thank you for supporting us for over 30 years.
We all own stock in Moody's and have a vested interest in you and your vehicle.
The people at Moody's Collision Centers are part of the community, and our reputation is very important to us.
We take pride in our work and guarantee our repairs for as long as you own your vehicle.
At Moody's Collision Center, we care about our customers.
So when your insurance company asks where you want to go, tell them Moody's Collision Centers. 4 convenient locations: Gorham, Scarborough, Biddeford, and now Portland.
You're watching Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by Scott's Recreation, now at 3 convenient locations. Go to scottsrecreation.com to view their inventory. Clark's Car Crushing, located in Hollowell, providing guaranteed honest weights with top dollar being paid.
Now it's time to go down in the Boondocks. Is this right? Isn't there a song, Down in the Boondocks?
I think so.
This one is, depending on where you are, if you're north of Showhegan, it's down in the Boondocks, and if you're south Showhegan, it's up in the Boondocks. But you know, just, and when you go to these off the wall,
right,
not your typical Unities, Wiscasset, Beechridge,
right, yeah.
I'll tell you, you meet some of the nicest people.
Yeah, because they're out there. Like, we grew up around racing, you know, at different tracks, Beechridge, Oxford, wherever, you know, and we grew up, and it's supposed to be fun, but it's like not. It's not. It's like when somebody goes out golfing. You know, they go out golfing. They want to get a lower score every time if they're into it. If you're into racing, you're going to get into it at the local level.
Yeah.
You go to these off the beaten path tracks like that, or like the lawnmower races or whatever, or anything like that. These people are doing it for amusement. A good time, hanging out with friends, get out there, have a good time, and rock and roll, and maybe win a trophy, you know?
Yeah. And one thing you will notice, and you've noticed it from a couple of the different things we've done, and then when somebody like Mainly Motorsports shows up to give them a little exposure,
they appreciate it.
They're all over it because
right,
they, you know, this means the world to them,
right,
you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like Beechridge when Dick Bergman shows up. Wow, that's a big deal.
Right.
To these people, when Mainly Motorsports shows up, you know, it's a big deal. And we appreciate that because it makes us want to help and promote them and support them and show up.
Yeah,
so.
and like you said before, it's really cool that Chris can go out and do these pieces that he's doing, you know, because like you said, we can't always make it to everything. And Chris is doing a great job at it. You know?
A lot of that stuff's
I've gotten comments
Northern Maine
from friends of mine who've texted me and said, you know, I don't know who the guy is doing the on-site interview videos lately, but those things are coming out pretty good, you know?
Yeah, you know, and it's something different, and it's just bringing different stuff back to our viewers. So enjoy this piece from the Boondocks.
Down in the Boondocks.
My name is Chris Marley with Mainely Motorsports. We're down here today at Boondocks Raceway. We've caught up with Sonia Williamson, who is the owner and the operator of this raceway. Thank you, Sonia, for having us down here today. And thank you also for taking just a couple of minutes with us. Sonia, there's a lot of folks out there who, in talking with people who don't know this raceway is here. Can you give us just a little history on this raceway and how long you've been personally involved?
It opened about 5 years ago. I started out as a manager and doing the paperwork and doing security in the pets. I did that for 1 season, and then the owner took over for the following 2 seasons. And then last season approached me about taking it over permanently.
So you're the sole owner of this now?
Yes.
Now you run here every week. When does your season begin and end here?
Usually the first Saturday in June. Only because it is dirt, you know, we have to keep the weather in mind. We try to work our way in as the snow melts, and we usually run right through the middle of October.
So this is your final right here today then?
Yes, this is the season finale.
And how many divisions are you running here, Sonia?
On a regular race day, we have Boondock stock class, we have a stock front-wheel drive class, which is the Enduros, stock rear-wheel drive class, modifieds, youth class. We'll pretty much take anything if there's enough in the class.
There you go. And today is your finale. Now, I understand there's a lot going on here today. Can you just tell us what we can expect?
Well, the track's going to be a little slick to start with, so we had to change the order of events. We're going to put the front wheel drives out for their heat first and get it cleaned up, and then probably do the stock rear wheel drives. And then after that, we'll do the stock rear wheel drive feature, the enduro feature. We'll have probably a half-hour intermission, and then we'll start doing the fun stuff. We've got a ramp and obstacle course race. Anybody's welcome to go out and do it. We have a boat and camper race. If they happen to show up, we'll put them out there. Those two events are strictly for fun. We've decided we're going to ask the audience at the end of those who they thought put on the best show. There's trophy and cash prizes in all events, and then at the end of the day, we'll do a demolition derby.
Great. Sounds like a very eventful day. If somebody wants to visit you here, Sonia, where exactly are you located?
We're a mile off en Route 2. If you go onto the racetrack page on Facebook and just go into Boondocks Raceway, there's actually a copy of a sheet that I put on there that gives specific directions on how to get here.
Okay. Well, again, Sonia, thank you for taking time with us today, and we're really looking forward to this event.
I am too right now. We'll see how it goes.
Thanks.
Wow. Hey, I'm Kyle Busch, and when I'm in Maine, I watch Mainly Motorsports.
Thinking about a new camper? What if you could get a new camper now and not pay for it till next year? Now you can at Scotts Recreation. Buy a new travel trailer, we'll make your payments until January 2012. Buy any new fifth wheel, we'll make your payments until March 2012. Over 100 units in stock and online at scottsrecreation.com. Camp now, pay later.
Scotts Recreation, Route 4 Turner and Route 202 Manchester, Maine.
Life in Maine is all about outdoor fun and being close to nature. Southern Maine Jeep is all about delivering you the best selection and the best prices at one location. Live it up with a new 2011 Jeep Grand Cherokee, increased horsepower and mileage, or go for the all-new look of the Jeep Compass 4x4. If Maine had a state car, it would be the Jeep. No other vehicle has the capabilities that come standard on every Jeep. No other dealer is working as hard to be #1 as Southern Maine Motors.
You're watching Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by LKQ Corp. Any part, any repair, anywhere. Located on Route 202 in Gorham. Moody's Collision Centers, now in 5 convenient locations: Biddeford, Gorham, Portland, Sanford, and Scarborough.
Clark's Car Crushing has been a family-owned and operated business since 1978. We do everything from crushing cars, handling industrial scraps, to buying the scrap metal right out of the back of your pickup. Copper, brass, stainless steel, aluminum, you name it, we'll buy it. We have roll-off containers of all sizes for industrial accounts. We'll handle the legwork with full drop-off and pickup services. So for a professional job, guaranteed honest weights, and top dollar paid statewide, come see the Clark family in Farmingdale, Maine. Clark's Car Crushing. Don't fix it, scrap it.
Southern Maine Motors, out to be Maine's #1 Chrysler Dodge Jeep dealership, Route 1 Saco.
Now, by the time people are watching this show, it'll either be up or it'll be within a day or so.
Shortly after.
The Mainelys. We finalized all the categories, got all the information we needed, and it's time for the 4th annual Mainelys.
I got to tell you, you kind of stressed me out a little bit with the Mainelys this year because I've never been involved with them at all, and you kind of included me in the process this year a little bit, and I was like, oh, now I got to think about things.
No, it's simple. I mean, it's all, a lot of it's based on on-track performance.
Yeah.
You know,
I probably just blown it out of proportion in my own head because I'm a thinker and I overthink things.
Well, if you're a thinker and you're overthinking and you're prepared, you're hanging out with the wrong dude.
I know.
Wrong dude. But we thought we'd take this week and we'd list off the categories and some of the guys and things and girls in the categories. So,
not everybody,
but
give you an idea.
Without further ado,
here we go.
All right. Category number 1, Touring Driver of the Year. I mean, those are all your champs. It's
pretty much self-explanatory, yeah.
Let me tell you, you got guys like Eddie McDonald, Andy Shaw, Kerry Martin. They got their work cut out for them to try to beat Brian Hoare and Johnny Clark.
Yeah.
And, so good luck. But it's
about votes, folks.
Yeah, votes, folks. You're right.
And then category number 2, we have Driver of the Year at a track premier division. And that's a tough category this year. I mean, Jeff White wins the championship at Oxford, and he also has an act win under him. Then you got Billy Rogers having a good year at Beech Ridge, and you can't forget about Hot Rod Hopkins at Speedway 95.
Yeah. Then you throw in some other ones, Willette, Ryan Dean, these guys that just missed the championships. You'll see the list when we get it up online. Then at your tracks, the support division, that's your division down from your top division. Your sports series at Beech Ridge, and your Wildcat guys, Caswell, Booba. You got Finnemore up there at Spud. Kurt Hewins. McLaughlin. How about that cat? Dominated the Ike door. Steve Moulton.
Mo Young at Unity.
So you got some great
heavy
talent.
Hitters, yeah.
Heavy hitters.
Heavy hitters in their category.
Yep.
And then category number 4 is Driver of the Year at an entry-level division, at a track entry-level division, which that's an open book because there's guys all through that category. I mean, you got your Zach Audette from Unity. You got your Ryan Phillips from Beech Ridge. I mean, it's just
Kirk Tebow's son Keith from up at Spud.
Right.
A lot of great young talent, and that's usually the young guys because they're
it's an open book because those guys are on their game when they get there.
Then we include the midweek programs. Obviously, 95 and Beech Ridge are really the only and Oxford, the only tracks that have them. Jim Carr, he won a Mainly a couple of years ago from up at Speedway 95. You got Scott Farrington, Ryan Farrer from, and I'll tell you,
Team Lovejoy.
What's the Lovejoy family going to do? We got 3 Lovejoys on the list. You know what I mean? Do they all say, let's go for one and try to help them win, or we
it's going to be like Survivor in the Lovejoy compound.
Yeah, so, no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
And then category number 6 is one of these old standbys, Female Driver of the Year.
And I'll tell you,
there's some girls that can wheel.
We got a few down here at Beech Ridge, and obviously Sally Girardi comes to mind.
Yeah.
But then you got the Thursday Thunder girls, Caitlin Ridgway, the champion, Jen Picard-Smith.
Right.
But up there in the middle part of the state,
you got your Vanna Brackett at Oxford. You got your Becky Elston at Speedway 95.
Yep.
I mean, there's
Shelby Kimball's running a Wildcat now up in, and she really gave Andrew McLaughlin some runs at the end of the year. One, she was the August Driver of the Month for up there. Won a couple, 2 or 3 races. Chelsea Young, and then don't forget Deanna Bisbee from Oxford. The track champion there. So then, these next 2 are probably 2 of my favorite ones of the whole thing.
Right.
They're the same every year, but I love them. The Rookie of the Year. You know, that pits Rookie of the Years in all types of divisions, tours. You got Ben Ashline. We got, you know, Lance Chapman won the championship at Unity, and he's also in here. You know, Shelby Kimball, Ryan Hewins. You know, Ryan Hamner from the Nelcar thing. You know, you got a few others. Evan Armington. You know, for years he was nominated in the go-kart category. Now he's a Rookie of the Year. He's moved up to the big cars.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough road to sled when you come into a season as a rookie. But to make a standout point, you know you've done something.
And then now you're not only going up against 1 or 2 rookies in your class, you're going up against every
the field.
rookie. Yeah, you're going up against 8 or 9 of the other top rookies in the state.
Across the state. Category number 8 is the most improved driver, somebody who's shown real improvement throughout the year. I mean, you got some great guys on there. You got your Brandon Ingles from Beech Ridge, your Andrew McLaughlin from Speedway 95. Jeff White from OPS stepped up his game real big this year.
You know, Billy Dixon from Pass.
Billy Dixon from Pass.
About Matthew Burgoyne from the Nelcar Legend Series.
Yeah.
You know, went from, you know, just kind of riding around to, he was the hottest thing on that.
Right.
And now, every year we throw some new categories out there and just see. It's hard to throw it out as best because everybody got their opinion. I come up with this one. I'm going to call it your favorite young talent.
That's a loaded bear right there.
Loaded bear. Riley Babb, Josh Cantera, Joey Dwyron, Joey Pohl, Aaron Ricker, Trevor Sanborn, DJ Shaw, Austin Terrio. I mean, you know.
Young guns who are heavy on the right foot.
In my opinion, there is no loser there.
Right.
No loser.
Yeah. And then here's another category that's one of your quirkies.
Quirkies.
Category number 10 is family domination. I mean, you got the brackets from Oxford.
Yeah, and
the late models.
The way I did this, it doesn't mean because there's 3 McKeggs running. This is family that's racing in the same
division.
class.
Right.
Yeah, so
you got your brackets from Oxford, your Folsoms from Unity, your Cobies from Beech Ridge. I mean, it's
Kurt and Ryan
the
Hewins.
Robinsons from Unity, the Hewins from Oxford.
Yep.
I mean, that's a loaded category. They're all loaded this year.
They're all loaded. Right? That's what Greg says. We'll have to do this show being loaded. And then this next one, your go-kart driver of the year. You know, I'm so heavily involved in the go-karting program, but it's nice to give the go-karters the opportunity, you know, to be a driver of the year. Last year, my daughter won this category, and she's not up for it this year. She had a great year, but it wasn't one of those years that warranted being a candidate for driver of the year, you know. So, but you got the, you know, Gunnar Rowe, Isaac Collins, Austin Terrace from Richmond.
A lot of those names are
synonymous with car racing.
Car racing, right.
Then over to Oxford, we got Zach Rich, Brandon Varney, Stephen Betty. And then Thunder and Valley, that track up there in Thunder and Valley. You got, you know, Wayne Peterson Jr., Hunter Morris. There is a lady in there. And then Max Cookson. So, you know, it's neat, the go-karter. And it's a big deal to those. I remember the ones that I've given them to over the last few years, you know. It's like, oh, they feel like they get an award like one of the Rose or Clarks or somebody
synonymous with it, yeah.
Yeah.
And number 12 is a category that should bring a smile to everyone's face. That's how I'm going to put it. It's the feel-good moment of this past racing season. I mean, there was so many great points all through the season, but how can anybody forget who was there? Gary Smith winning his first pass race at Lee.
Yeah.
You know, you got the John Phippen Memorial that happened this year. You know, and then you have other stuff like Billy Childs winning his championship at Oxford.
Yeah.
And the Aikidor Memorial.
You know.
And then the Save Wiscasset Day.
You know, Tony True, Dale Chadbourne, all the work they did to really put something together, and you know, still no results of what's going to happen with, but still.
Right.
And then
step in the right direction.
How about being 83-year-old Ray Penfold winning the championship in your mud run division?
Right.
You know, 83 years old. So, I mean, that's just unbelievable. And, you know, that's going to be one of those categories that's fun to see what people think in the winner. Then the next one, the driver gets all the glory, right? Gets to kiss the pretty girl, gets to take home the big trophy.
They don't have girls anymore, the trophy queens.
I'll tell you, if I had a racetrack, we'd have a trophy queen. And that's one thing you folks have got to realize, that I have stepped up when it comes to the Northeast Motorsports Expo, right? Because you used to go and you used to have, you know, Barry or whoever, you know, they were your trophy girls. Not this cat. We got some girls. My wife, my sister-in-laws, and, you know, when they're worn out, we'll get more. Because that's the key. If you're going to win, when you go to the Emmys or the Oscars and all that, they don't have somebody that looks like me or Greg parading you off the stage. They got a pretty girl.
Right.
So when you win an award, you should get a pretty girl.
Right.
So with that being said, the Crew Chief of the Year awards, you know, Bobby Clark, Tommy Nason, T-Max, you know, Alan Grass, Mickey Green, Goodwin Hannaford, you know, Anthony Wilcox.
Right.
You'll see, you know, you'll recognize some of them. You know, other ones you say, I wonder who that is.
Right.
When you go to the website and click on the Mainelys, you'll go and it'll have their driver next to them, so you'll know, say, oh, that's who that is with. You
right,
know?
Yep. And then here's another new category that I'm going to take credit for this one.
Yeah, I'll give you credit.
This was a stumper we had one to come up with, and actually, you know, a lot of influence came from when we went to Lee last weekend and we were outside the state of Maine and saw some people that watched the show from New Hampshire area and stuff like that, and it hit us, you know, hey, these are the Mainelys, but there's guys from Maine that don't race in Maine.
Yep.
They race all over. So, you know, you got guys like Sulu Burbank, who we interviewed last week, that races at Canaan. But you also have Larry Gelinas that races at Thompson.
Ben Tinker.
Jake Dorr. Josh Cantera racing modified to Star.
We got two guys right there that won track championships out of the state. So
there you go.
My man Greg come up with the traveling man.
The traveling man.
You know, it's not a touring guy. It's somebody that's racing a weekly track on a Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, Friday, whatever.
Right.
From Maine. So, and then the category number 15, that's one of my favorites. So
the old standby.
Favorite photo. And, you know, it's a chance for these guys to, and we're going to show you each photo here. And, you know, we ain't going to tell you whose is whose, you know, so you'll see when you go online. But these are the photos that were nominated for Photo of the Year from the different track photographers.
It's like an internal battle amongst the photographers, who those guys are all pretty much friends anyway.
Yeah.
You know, it's like an internal battle between them. Oh, I got to come up with this great picture to submit for the Mainelys this year.
And poor Steve Leclerc, right? He just don't get it. He's tried everything. He's superimposed a beautiful body on top. It's supposed to be, okay, the photo of something that happened this year. He sends me something. I'll tell you, his is the one of the fight looks like back in the 70s. You know what I mean? I don't know. He's going through his archives. Maybe I'll give him a special award for just not understanding the rules award, you know? But it's great. These photographers they have fun. And Steve's a great guy, and they all take good ribbon and stuff. So I appreciate all the stuff they send us. So there's your 15 categories for the Mainelys. When you watch this show Wednesday night, when you get done, go to www.mainelymotorsportstv.com. Click on it. Hopefully it'll be up. They'll be all done. Norm Max is working on them. And you got to vote. You can vote every day, but only once a day. You know, but other people have more than one email address, so each one they vote from. And you have to fill in every category. So you can't go on and say, well, my uncle's so-and-so, I'm just clicking on that one and I don't care, because the vote will not get tallied. Won't let you close out the page. You got to vote on every category. And one of the things that I ask, and I know not everybody's going to do it, and, you know, your Beechridge crowd's going to say Beechridge, and the Unity crowd, Unity, and this one. But take a little time and maybe go to some of these tracks' websites or do a little research. And, you know, 2 years ago, it was awesome. Every track in the state, except Spud, was represented by a winner in a category.
Yep.
You know, so it made me think that people were really...
That's what it's all about. It's about giving all the people from all the different tracks a chance at parity, you know?
Yep.
Don't lay down and give up on your track, but also look around at the other tracks and say, hey, well, this guy did win 10 races at this track.
Yeah, this guy, he's a champion. But so it's pretty. I remember one year with the Strickleys, there was 4 of them within I think it was the second year we did it, there was 4 of them within 60 votes of each other at the end of it.
Yeah,
you know,
that's tight.
and there was like 620 to 615 to 588 to 576 or something. So, but enjoy it. It's neat. We'll run this for probably a month or 6 weeks, and we'll present the winners their awards at the Northeast Motorsports Expo. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back here on Mainly Motorsports.
All of us at Moody's Collision Centers would like to thank you for supporting us for over 30 years.
We all own stock in Moody's and have a vested interest in you and your vehicle.
The people at Moody's Collision Centers are part of the community, and our reputation is very important to us.
We take pride in our work and guarantee our repairs for as long as you own your vehicle.
At Moody's Collision Center, we care about our customers.
So when your insurance company asks where you want to go, tell them Moody's Collision Centers. 4 convenient locations: Gorham, Scarborough, Biddeford, and now Portland.
It's time for the Mainly Motorsports Buy, Sell, or Trade segment. Brought to you by Uncle Henry's.
We got a 2008 Port City Pro Stock. All the good stuff is in this thing. LaJoy seat, ATL cell, all the good stuff. Willwood brakes. I mean, it's got the best of everything. It's going for turnkey for $20,000 a best offer. No motor training and seat, $10,500 a best offer. For more info, call 207-420-9948 and leave a message.
Uncle Henry's Swap It or Sell It Guide is available on newsstands every Thursday. Pick up Uncle Henry's for an unbeatable bargain on most anything under the sun. And get a free ad form in every book. Find Uncle Henry's online at unclehenrys.com.
Well, Greg, we spent a lot of time yapping, but I wanted to throw the Mainely's categories out so people give
some explanation.
Yeah,
get
gives
it
an
going,
idea why we do some of the things, and then opening, talking about winter and everything's here. But you want to talk cold?
We're like a couple old women.
Yeah, old big women. But this weekend, Thompson Flea Market. A lot of people. I'll see a lot of from. You'll see the Wicked Good Gang. They all congregate together and come down, and if
I've never been.
Go on the backstretch, about halfway down, you'll start seeing, usually in the past, I say this, and everybody will come and we won't be there, but it's usually us, Hollywood Cabral, Bubba's down there, Clyde and Joe Hennessy, the wives, Spanky, Danny Booba, Wayne Poland, always that same group, we always seem to end up together.
I can't imagine any good comes out of that.
No, and go down Friday. It is a good time, and if you've never been, it's something you ought to experience because they got everything you need for racing, to build a race car, buy a race car, and just the whole. It's just a good time.
And other things, motorcycle stuff and all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah, you can buy anything.
Anything there.
Get your Christmas shopping done. So, we had a jam-packed show, some fun stuff.
Just don't open the big brown boxes in front of kids.
Yeah, really. Yeah, exactly. So for Greg, I'm Steve. Hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and go to that website and stop voting for them Mainelys.
To order copies of a show, send a check or money order for $15, shipping and handling included, to Mainely Motorsports, 326 Roosevelt Trail, Windham, Maine, 04062. And please add a description of the show.